last night, one of the world's great hotels opened its doors. This morning, except for the champagne corks and photographers' flashbulbs now going under the brooms, a guest might think it had been running for months. Which is quite a trick, unless you've opened so many great new hotels around this world of ours that you've found out how. Like a gentleman by the name of Conrad Hilton, now looking over his new domain to see what bit of this and detail of that might make his guests more comfortable. True luxury requires that the guest should be unconscious of the service which creates his comfort. And a particularly unconscious guest is newlywed Thomas W. Pridham. What a touch, says Mr. Pridham admiringly. Just wave your hand and name it, you get it. What a touch for this Hilton. He waves his hand, he gets a whole hotel. Well, this Hilton had begun this particular hand wave some 15 years before on a certain 8.5-acre vacant lot past which he had driven morning after morning on his way to his Los Angeles office. And then on this one morning, he saw it as though for the first time. And in this view, a dream, a hope, a notion, whatever you'd call it, there was a hotel on it, a dream hotel, the only kind of hotel you could build in this glamour capital of the world. To his business advisors, the dream was a brainwave. You can't even buy that property, they told him. And even if you could, better forget it. Perhaps they were right at the time. But time passes. 10 years of it. Patient persistence and $3 million have bought the land. But today, the dream hotel seems farther away than ever. On one of those dark mornings, a letter came from a young man in Korea. I read where you may build a hotel on the field in Beverly Hills where I used to play ball, and I'll make you a deal. You haven't started building the hotel, and I haven't got a girl, so let's both get on the ball, and you save me a room for my honeymoon, okay? Dear Tom Pridham, you get the girl, we'll build the hotel, that's a promise. You have reservation number 1. Welton Beckett, the architect who would translate Hilton's dream into plans and specifications, is an exponent of total design. This design would total around $17 million before Tom Pridham could escort his bride into the honeymoon suite. (1953). The man who bought the Waldorf has engaged the man who bought half the Yankees, contractor Del Webb. And with the help of stars, starlets, and Governor Knight, the ground for the dream is officially broken. The stuff that dreams are made on, if you're a practical dreamer, is steel and concrete. And the dream will be earthquake-proof, termite-proof, fire-proof, everything but owner-proof. If you want a thing done well, they say, do it yourself. Well... Well, when a man risks $17 million, he's entitled to some fun out of the deal. True to custom, the managers literally put some of their own money into the hotel. Swiss-born Arthur Elmiger, with hotel experience on 4 continents, would be the general manager. Robert Groves, with service stripes from the best hotels in America, would be its resident manager. 2,000 workmen plied their skills in 55 different crafts for 80 different subcontractors, and uncounted other men worked for suppliers around the world before Hilton's hand could finish its long wave. But on October 15th, Hilton and his key staff were able to welcome their first guests to the Star on the Roof for the official topping off ceremony. Mr. Hilton, you've met. Nick Hilton, actress Terry Moore. Two other guests from Cole of California anticipated things a little. The date, Easterners might note, was December 28th. There is a possibility that this visit was encouraged by publicity people. In any event, the pictures hit all of the wire services. And after this dry run, the gunite men and tile men and plumbers moved in to shape up what would become one of the finest, surely the pleasantest pools in the country. Beyond the entry canopy, men of many trades are manufacturing comfort and luxury. Air conditioning, one of the world's most elaborate systems. Soundproof plaster tested for privacy between the rooms. Marble from Italy for the spacious bathrooms. And glass, glass, glass. Hilton wanted every window to be a picture window looking out on California's famed outdoor living, over the balconies to the hills of Hollywood, the homes of Beverly and Westwood and Bel Air, and on the south to the nearby movie lots. Visitors to California expect to see palm trees under their windows, so see them they will. And without nature's 40-year wait. When the paddock pool is lit from under the water at night, the soft colors rival those of the sunny guest cabanas which surround it. The special palette of 27 colors is permanently reserved. By mid-April, the exterior was getting its finishing touches. Even to the critical Connie Hilton eye, the shape of the dream was good. Now the date of the opening was set for the second week in August, 4 months away. Months that would melt to weeks in the summer sun. It was time for Elmiger and Groves and their skeleton staff to move from their temporary quarters across the boulevard into the hotel itself, which they managed without missing a phone call. Time to pull together the hundreds of threads being woven in shops and studios and factories all over the country and the world. The threads of decor and equipment and service that would weave together into the tapestry of a great hotel. Decorator Dave Williams' office had become a treasure house of bizarre and exotic fabrics, marbles, woods for the smart interiors, much of it in the original starburst design, which would key the decor and furnishings. Much of the decor, in fact, would be original art. Actor Richard Cromwell created the glowing ceramic screen to stand in the main lobby. Dale Owen and Robert Mallory did the translucent mosaic mural for L'Escoffier. And for the 110-foot south wall of the Bali Room, Mary Bowling did the legendary World of the Balinese Theater in Intarsia. From England came the authentic old crest for the Red Lion Tap Room. And sculptor Leonard Kaplan scraped whale bones to translucent thinness for the glowing shell walls of the Nordic Room, their contemporary treatment contrasting with the traditional tapestries of the Grand Ballroom. Along with the aesthetic went more practical art. The china and the delicate glassware, all specially designed in the Starburst theme, and the $250,000 silver service. The deliveries were coordinated like a battle plan. Furniture from the south, carpeting from the north, china from Europe, fabrics from Asia, art objects from Africa, silver from Sweden and Denmark, and our own Northeast. Mattress samples were approved only after Hilton top brass had slept on them in their own homes. The same personal testing went for the bath towels, double size and double thick. And the linens, 14 different color schemes in the linens alone. A million details to check, and every one important. Just the matter of fabrics, hundreds to be selected from a bewildering array. Madame prefers turquoise or desert sand. Yes, a million details to check. but on occasion it can be rather a nice way to make a living. This one, of course, is for the Red Lion. While the hotel was building, you may remember a widely publicized question about a liquor license. For a few worrisome weeks, Mr. Hilton envisioned the biggest temperance boarding house in the Western Hemisphere. But the officials made their decision in favor of good spirit. The core of the new staff would be drawn from the Waldorf, the Plaza, and other Hilton establishments, plus trained people from Paris, Spain, Las Vegas. But applications poured in for jobs from all over. The applicants checked with extraordinary care because of the unusual clientele they would serve. Even the old Hilton hands were trained in the new ways which Hilton and his men were perfecting for this new hotel. The executive housekeeper had trained the staff of the Caribe Hilton and the Castellana in Madrid. A room, she said, must always say to its guest, "You are the first person to live here." Since each member of the staff should be able to answer most any question a guest might ask, all the employees took lecture tours of the whole hotel, from penthouse apartments to poolside cabanas, with special attention to the tactful guardians of the front desk, all college-educated, young married men. The special room keys, by the way, were made in an odd size not easily duplicated by your friendly neighborhood locksmith. And now the time was growing short. At a general staff meeting, the kaleidoscopic array of uniforms and costumes won another Oscar for their designer, Paramount's famed Edith Head. This would probably be the last time the whole Service family could come together in one room at one time. And the head of the family was on hand for the occasion.
Thank you for this very wonderful ovation. I didn't expect to be in on this party. I just happened to come by the hotel, and I saw the crowd in here, and I said, I didn't know we had a convention here already. Anyway, this convention looks very good to me. Of course, we're all excited about this hotel. We've been thinking about it, dreaming about it for a long time, and now the time is almost here when it is going to be opened to the public. I've had to do with quite a few hotels here and around the world, but so that you may know and be a part of it, this is the finest hotel that I have ever built. And I'm sure that you will have the same pride in it that I have. Thank you.
3 months before its opening in the summer, the hotel was booked for parties and banquets and convention affairs into the fall. The affairs planned for the week-long opening would be about evenly divided between hospitality and charity, such as the grand ball for one of the screen's favorite charities, the St. John's Hospital Guild, planned at an early luncheon by Irene Dunn and Luella Parsons and Jack Benny. And now, despite the welders and the painters still at their trades, the die was cast. The date was engraved and sent out over the wires to the world. The fabulous 5-page Escoffier menu was approved. The invitations addressed to a list chosen about as carefully as that of a certain affair in Monaco. It seems to have become Mr. Hilton's custom to celebrate the opening of a new hotel by flying several plane loads of his friends to be his guests for the occasion. And since his friends seem to include interesting people from almost every sphere of the world's business and public and entertainment life, the occasions become memorable. This plane brought some of the Eastern press. Champagne on the bus, arf and arf in the Red Lion, and noon still ahead of us. The next 7 days should add up to quite a week. A hotel is born in the real sense at the moment it is dedicated to the people it will serve, prayerfully to God and proudly to country. The birth of this hotel would be celebrated by simultaneous flag raisings over each structure of the far-flung hotel family. At this moment, other hands are grasping the cords of other flags in Chicago, New York, Washington, San Juan, Madrid. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President of the United States.
I wonder if you would think back with me what Wilshire Boulevard was 42 years ago. And as all of you know, there was very little here as far as buildings were concerned. This was a great field which was then farmed, but in that very brief time, we have seen a great metropolis constructed in this area. And now we have here this hotel, the Beverly Hilton. The word Hilton in hotels is a magic word, not only in the United States, but around the world.
One event the whole press and Shelley Winters turned out for was the charity affair referred to by a punning columnist as a splashy occasion. The christener-in-chief was, well, who else? Opera's Dorothy Kirsten, some of Esther's favorite youngsters. Champion Vicki Draves on the high board. Fashion show by Cole of California. Mistress of ceremonies Betty Furness. Jinx Falkenberg with husband Tex and small McCrary's. One of the sun-bronzed Justice Warren daughters. Miguelito Alemán and Nick Hilton. At the opposite end of the grounds from Esther Williams and her equicade, Red Skelton and assorted celebrities circulated around the exotic decor, authentic pieces from Africa and Polynesia, to celebrate Vic's opening of the Traders. Frosted rums, served in coconut shells, it's possible. Oh my. Reservations are always a problem in the top hotels, but this is unfortunate. Married just today, judging from the confetti in his trouser cuffs, and of course everything is full because of the opening. When did you make your reservation, sir? 5 years ago. Pridham. Thomas W. Pridham and wife. Oh, Pridham! It's urgent, sir. Pridham. Pridham's here. Pridham? Oh, Pridham. Who's taking care of him? To become an assistant manager, first get your carnation. Part of the new routine is a signal from the desk to assure a waiting elevator. and an assistant manager shows arriving guests to their rooms. The Pridhams will be comfortable here. A view over the country club to the Santa Monica Mountains. Radio, of course, and on TV, a choice of 7 channels with bedside remote control. A valet will unpack for them if they wish, or a personal maid for Mrs. Pridham. A beautifully fitted dressing alcove near the bath. Weather? They'll dial their own, climate a la carte. Thank you, my good man, and we'll tell Mr. Hilton himself how nice you've been to us. Your name? His name? Well, he's probably the most experienced assistant manager in the hotel business. Hilton executives lived in test rooms for weeks to get every detail smooth and natural, even to refrigerators with the proper or improper contents. May the next 50 years be as happy as these first few hours. A TV dish on top of the penthouse gives a line-of-sight channel to the transmitters on Mount Wilson. A very nice bonus, what with conference call TV featuring so many multiple city business meetings today. But tonight, the TV beam will be strictly for pleasure. The hours grow short. A 58-page schedule anticipates every facet of the opening affairs. Is everything ready? It will be. Is everything as right as the elegant setting deserves? How about the rooms? The Nordic suite for the president's dinner. The Bali room for the St. John's Hospital entertainment and ball. L'Escoffier and the Star on the Roof, opening for the benefit of the Auguste Escoffier Scholarship. And a revival in America of an ancient and gracious continental custom, the Parade of the Pages. Everything is ready. Everything is right. It's 15 years since Conrad Hilton stood in the middle of a weed patch and waved his hand. 15 years ago, a dream was born. Tonight, the dream comes of age. The guard station is passing in the first cars now. Here's Walter Winchell. A golden rain shimmers down from a blimp overhead. Everybody's here, of course, or will be as fast as the cars can be handled. Ann Miller with Mr. Hilton. Hedda Hopper. The cars are moving in faster now. Welton Beckett, the hotel's architect. His total design is really total tonight. Actor John Carroll, and a little girl who grew into young womanhood while Hilton's dream was growing up, and who shares the hotel's name with her friend the builder, Miss Beverly Bates. In fact, just about everybody is here except Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Pridham. They were invited. They were to be Mr. Hilton's very special guests. This is really a night to remember. Clark Gable and Mrs. Gable. Gable's boss for many years at MGM, Louis B. Mayer. Maureen O'Sullivan. George Burns waiting for Gracie. Jack Benny waiting for George. Chief Justice and Mrs. Warren with Times publisher Norman Chandler trying to duck his own photographer. And now, a brief word from our sponsor. Earlier tonight, a portrait of Escoffier was unveiled. And now the French consul is presenting Mr. Hilton with the Medal of the Legion of Honor. The Escoffier waiters speak both French and English because the 4 chefs, flown over from Paris especially for this post, speak only French, and the food they prepare is in keeping. Tomorrow, Variety's reviewer will say, there's little doubt that the Bali Room is the most elegant and comfortable supper club in town. The lighting is subtle, the room is expansive and airy, but the warmth of the decor retains the feeling of intimacy. And for the opening night only, the head man himself takes over the closing spot to show the customers how it should really be done. Well, it's almost over. In a few minutes, the last red powder spark will blink into black on the pavement. The last searchlight beam will pull down from the sky. The last car will purr out and down the curving drive, popping a last forgotten flashbulb under its whispering tires. And hotel history will be the richer by a glamorous new chapter. Last night, one of the world's great hotels opened its doors. That was last night. This morning, except for the champagne corks and flashbulbs now going under the brooms, a guest might think it had been running for months, which is quite a trick. To anyone but guest Pridham, Thomas C., and wife. To Pridham Thomas, it was no trick at all. What a touch, he said. Just wave your hand and name it, you get it. What a touch for this Hilton. He waves his hand, he gets a whole hotel. And as any hotel man dedicated to unobtrusive service would agree, he couldn't have said a nicer thing. 15 years. The man who once stood on the edge of a weed patch in Beverly Hills now stands on the edge of a world with another notion, another dream. It's a world of barriers, of tensions and enmities. In 1949, the Hilton Hotel family began moving out into this world with the nearby Caribe Hilton in Puerto Rico. Then came the gracious Castellana, farther away in Spain. Then came the Istanbul Hilton in faraway Asia Minor. Other hotels are building in Montreal, in Mexico City and Acapulco, in Havana, in Cairo on the Nile. Still others are on the drawing boards for Rome, for West Berlin, for Tokyo, and on the other side of the world in Siam. The very word hotel implies hospitality, warmth. Where a hotel is born, there friendship may be born also. And the new friendships engendered by increased world travel, by more fluid world trade, may well help to build the new paths to world understanding and world peace. It's a good dream.